Hello there and welcome to Black Jackal Gaming. We're going to take a look at what Space Marine control box is best to start a Space Marines army. There's plenty of different flavours available in the different box sets, and there's a couple of out of production box sets that are still available if you can find them online. Almost all of the different combat controls can be used for any chapter, with a couple that are a little bit more specific. There's great value to be found in every box set, which is quite handy, which allows you to mix and match to a certain extent. Now, the combat patrols are a great starting point to get into Space Marines at under £100. We're going to start off with this standard Space Marines box set. Now, it's important to note that all of these models have come out recently, so they won't be replaced in the near future. The combat patrol comes with a 5-man squad of Infernus Marines with the Pirate Blasters, and 5-man squad of Terminators with Stormbolters and Power Fists. There's 2 characters available, of which both can lead the Terminator squad, being the Captain in Terminator armour and the Librarian in Terminator armour. This comes to a total price of around £107.50, meaning you get a savings of around £12.50, which isn't the highest amount you can get, and is probably slightly disappointing on the value of the set. So the pros are that the models won't be replaced anytime soon, because they have all come out in the last 6 months. And the units and characters are okay on the tabletop where they are at the moment. And as well as this, like previously pointed out, there's a lot of synergy because both leaders can join the Terminator unit. The cons are that there's a small amount of savings and you don't really get that many units. The models available aren't really standouts at the moment. And whilst there are synergy within the combat patrol, when actually on the tabletop, there's not a lot of synergy that you can get through these, because the combat patrol is basically being set up to be the first company detachment, which you don't get any benefits from running the Infernus squad in. Next up, we have the Death Watch patrol. It's important to note that this comes with an upgrade screw for the Death Watch, so you can use all of these models within the normal Space Marine chapters. For your money, you get a squad of 10 Intercessors, which can also be taken just as 2 5-man squads, and you get 3 Aggressors. For characters, you get a Primaris Lieutenant as well as an Apothecary. The total price of this box is around £120, meaning you get a reasonable savings of £25 in total. So the pros of this box set is that Intercessors are quite cheap in the game, so you can run a fair few of them, and Aggressors are super meta at the moment, especially if you run it with a Biologist. The characters are just okay at the moment, there's nothing really stand out there, but they can both join up with the Intercessors, and it's actually got a decent amount of melee capability with the Aggressors. The cons are that it's relatively limited in ranged weapons, especially in strength of ranged weapons, because they're all quite low in strength. The characters also can't join the best unit in the combat patrol, being the Aggressors. Onto the Dark Angels combat patrol, and this is the new one that's just been released. Like the Death Watch, you can use this for all chapters, and it comes with your upgrade sprue for the Dark Angels. It comes with a fair few models with 10 Intercessors, 5 Hellblasters, and 3 Blade Guard veterans. You get just the one character in this box set, being the Captain in Gravis armour. The total price is around £116.25, giving you a reasonable savings of £21.25. For the pros, like with the previous box set, Intercessors are cheap in game, and they've got sticky objectives, which is quite good. And currently, Hellblasters are really good in the game, especially if you pair them up with a Dark Angels character in Azrael. For cons, the Captain stands out a little bit because he can't join any of the units within the box set, and Blade Guard are a melee unit that's currently pretty weak in the meta and is struggling to find a place. Up next, we have the Sons of Sanguinius, being the Blood Angels. Like all the other sets, it does come up with your upgrades through to make it a bit more Blood Angel-y, but apart from that, it can be applied for all chapters. The Combat Patrol comes with 5 Intercessors, 5 Incursors, and 3 Aggressors. It also comes with a Primaris Librarian, as well as a dedicated transport in the Impulsor. This costs a total of £147.50, giving you a whopping savings of £52.50. The pros are that once again the Intercessors are cheap in the game and they do have that good ability. Incursors are just okay, but you can kit bash them into the better unit, which is the Infiltrator unit. And the Impulsor is in quite a nice space, and the Librarian synergizes well with the Incursors, come Infiltrators and Intercessors. The Impulsor has a couple of options you can take with it, but you can take a harder hitting ranged weapon just to give them a little bit more oomph. Cons, there's not really any here. They have melee capability, they have range capability, and they're quite fast, so there's no cons. This is a solid choice with great savings. Up next we have the Space Wolves Combat Patrol. Now this one is a little bit more wolfy than the other combat patrols. The lieutenant, unless you can do quite a bit of kit bashing, can only come in the Space Wolf variant. But it does come with the upgrade sprue for Space Wolves to make them a little bit more wolfy if that's what you're going for. It's quite troop heavy, this combat patrol, being 10 intercessors and 5 incursors. I say incursors, but we really mean reavers, but you are going to convert them into incursors because reavers are really struggling in the meta, like they have in every edition since they've come out. Also comes with the lieutenant and an Invicta tactical warsuit. The total price of this box set comes in at £121.25, giving you a savings of around £26.25. The pros for this, again, that are intercessors that are almost every box set, are cheap in game and have a good ability, and the lieutenant can enjoy the intercessors, and that's not too bad. Over to the cons, which there are more. The lieutenant is very wolfy, so if you can't convert him, he is going to stand out a little bit. The reavers are very meh in the meta, and the Invicta tactical warsuit, whilst priced okay, doesn't bring a lot to the tabletop, so it's, even though it's a solid savings, this is one that you probably would pass up on. Coming across to the Black Templars Combat Patrol, this is the last standard one that you can purchase directly from Games Workshop. Like all the previous Combat Patrols, it does come with the upgrade sprue for Black Templars. This box set comes with 1 Crusader squad and 5 intercessors. It's important to note that if you don't want to run these as Black Templars, what you're essentially getting from the Crusader squad is a lieutenant, 5 intercessors and 4 scouts. It also comes with a Primaris Marshal, which is your captain-like character, as well as your dedicated transport and the Impulsor. This comes to a total price of £128.75, leaving you a savings of around £33.75. The pros are like all the other combat patrols, they all come with intercessors and they're cheap in game and have the great sticky objective ability, and the lieutenant can join the intercessors, which is quite nice. The Marshal should also be able to join both squads. The cons are that aesthetically it very much is a Black Templars box set. You can make it look like Dark Angels because they've got all of the gowns, so they do fit their aesthetic quite well. However, if you're running a normal chapter, a Codex compliant chapter, they will stand out slightly, unless you want to run them more as like maybe veteran Marines. When it comes to the combat patrols that are now out of production, it's tough to look past the Dark Angels combat patrol. Now this can no longer be bought directly from GW, but you will find online stores and local gaming stores that might still have it in stock. The box set comes with 5 intercessors and 3 inceptors. It also comes with a Primaris Chaplain as well as a Redemptor Dreadnought. The total price for the box set is £123.75. giving you savings of £28.75. So the pros are that you get your troop choice and your intercessors, which are good. Inceptors are very good in the current meta, albeit they've just had a raise in prices, but they're still very good. The Redemptor is just okay. He's a little bit too much on the pricey side. He's gone up in points again. He really needs a reduction, but he is a good versatile unit. The con you have really is that you get a small amount of models in the box set, even though it is good value. The Chaplain doesn't synergize well because you can't join the Inceptors, and you don't really want to give that +1 to wound and melee to 5 intercessors. There's some great value to be had in the combat patrols. There's plenty that you can double up on, and you can get multiples of different ones. Now the Blood Angels one is probably the greatest one for value, as it's going to be consistently able to use throughout the editions. It's always useful to have a dedicated transport. If you can get yourself the out of production Dark Angels one, that is a great one to have, because again you get yourself some more intercessors. The Inceptors are great, and you get a Redemptor. It's great value for money. The rest all do play a part, and you can pick them up. The weakest probably being the Space Wolves one, just for the fact that the Lieutenant is so wolfy, and you are just getting Reavers and Intercessors and an Invicta Warsuit. The newest one being the First Company one with the Terminators is really cool set. All nice models, all new models. However, your savings aren't that much to write home about, so you might be better off getting them separately as you go along, just to save yourself a little bit of money in the short term, as you're not spending out a lot in 1 month. Check out these other 2 videos. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like the video. Pop along to Patreon for some free memes and some extra goodies to be had there as well. See you next time.